Hi, hey, hello, how's it going? It's Emily, and we're going to be starting our vlogs for the month of September. So if you watched my TBR video, very chaotic in the sense that a lot was going on because there are so many readathons or things that I wanted to participate in for the month of September in addition to my own TBR game. So there's a lot on the list that I would like to read in the month of September, and I tried to make sure that the books that I wanted to read could fit multiple prompts across various things to make sure that I was hitting everything I wanted to between my TBR game, Kim and Amy's TBR game, and Magical Readathon. So anyway, if you want to see the full list of what I have going on to meet all of those prompts, then that'll be in my TBR video. But I don't particularly care what order I read these books. So, what I have here is a little TBR jar that was actually in a fairy loot box recently, and I have little slips of paper that just have listed every book I am hoping to read for the month of September. I did not include the library books that I mentioned. We'll just fit those in. My priority will be my physical TBR. If I can fit these in, great. Or if I'm particularly feeling the mood to read one of these, I can just insert it in between drawing prompts or drawing books from the TBR jar. So it's literally just listing the books. I don't have the prompts in here, but I have the actual books that I would like to get to. So I figured this could be a fun way to actually have fate decide what order I read my books in the month of September and just bring a little bit of fun to it, you know what I mean? So let's just go ahead and pick one. I'm just gonna give it a quick shuffle and just pick a random, I think I accidentally grabbed two there. We'll just pick this one. Ooh, Arcana Academy, which, if you recall from my TBR game, is the one that I put for top of mind. So that's actually super nice of Fate to have that one be the first one I read in September when it is top of mind. So I'm going to leave this out so that I don't draw it again. There are a couple in here that I'll put back in because I have a second book in a series and a third book in a series that, or anyway, there are a couple of series situations going on here where I might actually put it back so that I can redraw for the next book in the series. But, I'm so excited. Okay, so let's go ahead and hold it up. So this is Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. And I just remembered that there's, like, it's an academic setting, or there's some sort of school. And anyway, she has illegal magic, and she can, let's see, ink tarot cards. Anyway, so she's kind of brought into this magic academy, politics going on behind the scenes. Anyway, it sounds like it has a lot of stuff that I love. So I'm very excited for this to be my first read. So yeah, please keep watching and subscribe if you want to see the rest of my vlogs for the month, where this will determine my fate and what order I read my books. All right, I'll check in once I've actually started and have some thoughts on Arcana Academy. So I am a little more than a third of the way into Arcana Academy, having a really fun time with this one. Before we get to that though, I want to go ahead and pick another book because it's going to be a little bit busy coming up. We're also going to the National Book Festival, so that'll be really fun. Hopefully I can get some clips from the National Book Festival and integrate those as well, but I want to make sure I have another book picked out just in case. So let's give a little and just pick one here. Ooh, Catabasis. Okay, so this is actually one I didn't mention in my TBR video. It doesn't fit any prompts necessarily, but I just wanted to make sure I put this on the list because I'm so excited about it. So this is R.F. Kuang's new book. So very excited about this one. So that'll be the next book. So got that up there. So once I finish Arcana Academy, I'll get right into Catabasis. So this one has been a lot of fun so far. So we're following Clara. Clara has been in prison for a year at the start of the story, and she was imprisoned for inking tarot cards. So that's illegal in the society unless you've been to Arcana Academy. And essentially it's kind of a way to control magic and control the people who are able to ink tarot cards. So they're supposed to go through this training, and that way it's supposed to kind of instill loyalty, train them in specific abilities, and then they're supposed to go help society. And it's a way for people to kind of keep tabs on the people who can use magic. And so she's not supposed to ink tarot cards outside of being trained at this academy. And so at the beginning of the story, she's taken from her prison cell and is taken to meet one of the princes who actually runs Arcana Academy. And he basically asked her some questions, and she ends up trying to escape, but ends up at Arcana Academy. And she, through circumstances, so he wants her because she has a very special kind of inking ability. She doesn't really realize it, but not many people can do what she can do with inking. And so her time in prison, she was inking tarot cards for the warden, and it was kind of a test of her abilities to make sure that she could actually kind of do these different things with inking tarot cards. And so that caught the prince's attention, and he has taken her to Arcana Academy and wants to protect her and does want her to be trained. But the ultimate goal for him is to be able to find, or be able to find these cards and basically collect these cards, or have people be able to ink them so that he can find, there's this one card, and there are stories about it. Is it actually a real card? Is it a real thing that exists? Depends on what you believe, but he believes that this is kind of an all-powerful card is real, and he wants to be able to get to it. And so he needs her help to be able to do this. And she basically wants protection. And so he can kind of protect her and get her through this process. And he actually, there's also a marriage of convenience here, because he basically is like, oh, also, you're going to be my bride. And the reason he needs to do this is, and the reason she needs to pretend that she's someone else, she needs to be kind of high up to be able to go to Arcana Academy, especially at the age that she's at. She's older than you're supposed to be when being initiated into the academy, and you could only get away with that basically if you're part of the nobility. And so he's pretending that she's part of this long lost nobility to be able to get her into Arcana Academy. And in order to kind of solidify that image, he also is saying that he's going to take her as his bride. Anyway, And so she is at Arcana Academy. The main reason, actually, that she also wants to stay at Arcana Academy, not only does she want protection from the people at the prison are looking for her. They think she escaped, so that's why she wants protection. But the other reason she wants to be at Arcana Academy is that that's the last place her sister was known to be. So she's trying to track down what happened to her sister. And so, a couple of reasons she wants to be there. And so it's kind of a marriage of convenience for both of them. And anyway, so she's at this academy learning different things about magic and, trying to figure out whether or not she can trust this prince, meeting other people on campus, meeting someone who worked with her sister. And so she's trying to get more information from him to figure out what happened to her sister. Anyway, so various things have happened at the academy. Anyway, it's been really interesting, and I'm having a grand time being at this school, following our character, and trying to, go through different things with her and figure out who she can trust, figure out the next pieces of the puzzle. So it's been a lot of fun. Having a good time with that. Anyway, I'm going to continue reading, and hopefully I will include some clips from the National Book Festival, and we will check in after that. So we are in the bedroom for a very special project. So this whole wall is about to become shelves, or at least in the next handful of days. So I should be able to get the shelves and all of the supplies and stuff that I need tomorrow is when they should come in. And then I'm hoping we'll be able to get it, at least the shelves on and everything set up tomorrow evening. We'll see how long that takes. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take, but so this right here is a bookshelf. This right here, obviously a bookshelf. This is like a swiveling bookshelf. We're gonna donate that TV. I think we're probably gonna donate. We're also probably gonna donate these shelves. They just kind of hold some random odds and ends. And so these two bookshelves, they're not really designed to go in a corner. So all of the space that's in this corner is just wasted space. And so my initial impetus here was to just have some corner shelves that I could, at the very least, more effectively use the corner space. But since this is shelving unit anyway, and we're fine donating the TV, I figured we could just go ahead and make this whole wall shelves and just have it be consistent shelves across the whole space back there. That means that this shelf needs to go, because the shelves are gonna stick out from the wall a little bit, so I'm not gonna be able to have this one there. I will be able to shift this swiveling one into position where this bookshelf right here is. I think I should be able to have enough space even with shelves coming out of the back wall. There's a window right here, and so it's gonna butt up against the window if I keep the shelf here. But I should have space to have the shelves come out of the wall and then have this one be here close to the window. So that's the general plan. I have an identical set of two shelves in front of me. You're sitting on one of the shelves right now. We'll deal with this later. For now, I'm just going to keep these shelves here and just keep the bookshelf space. We'll eventually figure out what I want to do with this space if I have the opportunity to do something with this space. But for the moment, we're just going to take care of this wall here. I'm so excited because this is just all now going to be shelf space for books. It's going to be great. Of course, we do want some shelf space to incorporate some of the stuff that's here. So I'll figure out how I want to integrate it, because Matt is going to need some of the space on this shelf. I will give him some space, but most of it's going to be mine. So I'm very excited, but first we need to today's project is to actually just get everything off the shelves. I'm going to need his help to get the furniture that we're going to donate, like these 2 bookshelves, the TV, these shelves, I'm going to need his help getting those. There are many, many stairs between. We're at the top of the townhouse right now. So there are many, many steps in between where we are now and down in the garage, where we're just going to have to keep this stuff until we can donate it. And we've been trying to clear out the garage, get everything cleared out and donated. It's been a whole project. So I'm just going to make it worse temporarily. Hopefully we'll be able to get these donated relatively quickly and figure out. But that's a problem for future us. The problem for Emily right now is just to clear everything out. I think I'm going to take all of these books and just put them, maybe just put them at the foot of the bed here and hope that they'll fit on along the bed so that it doesn't take up a ton of space and we would still be able to work around the books. But anyway, I'm excited, so let's go ahead and start doing that. So we have made some progress. We have the top track on, and these just kind of slide in from the outside. So I've just slid them on for now. They're not in their final position, but I'll kind of get these in their final position, get the shelves on, get some books on, make sure I'm happy with how everything looks, and then we're gonna go from there. There are some holes to kind of make sure these are actually secured to the wall, but the shelves will help make sure that everything is kind of spaced and set properly. So we'll cross that bridge and actually secure these to the wall once I know I'm happy with everything. But anyway, so we have made some progress. Really the hard part is getting this top track on. That's really the part that required a lot of measurements and precision. Bless Matt for helping with that. So as far as book updates, I think we left off when I was partway through Arcadia Academy, is that right? Anyway, I adored this one so much. I am so excited for the next one. I need to see what happens. I'm so anxious to see what happens. So very excited. I really loved the tarot magic in here. I just thought it was super interesting and a lot of fun to follow. I love the school setting. I even think there could have been more of a school setting or more kind of day-to-day detail of the school setting. I at least would have enjoyed that. Maybe others would have found it boring. But you know, I kind of like following the day-to-day, some of the day-to-day stuff as far as just going to school and classes, but we don't get a lot of detail about that. I mean, we do go in some of the classrooms, but really they're following a few disciplines of tarot magic. There's inking, there's reading, and then there's kind of wielding it. And so, you know, 3 really things that they're studying here. But yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't have minded more of some of the day-to-day, because really what they focus on is her figuring out what's going on with her sister. She's going different places to try to figure out what's going on, and, you know, preparing for some of these trials and tests that are coming up. So they need to pass some of these trials in order to be accepted into one of kind of the houses, essentially, one of the groups that they kind of divide themselves into. And so she's vying for a spot with one of these groups. So that was a lot of fun to follow. Anyway, I'm super excited for the next one. I loved it. And I am now a good chunk into Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. And this one has been a lot of fun. We're following Alice and Peter. And Alice, they're both students. They're both PhD students studying, or, you know, advanced students studying magic under this particular advisor, who has passed away and gone to hell. And so at the very beginning, we kind of open right in on Alice trying to, or, you know, working on the magic to be able to actually go to hell. Peter comes across her and convinces her to let him come with her for reasons. And so, you know, they're venturing to the different levels of hell, which is just really interesting. It's very steeped in philosophy. It's very steeped in, philosophy, as far as what they've learned in their academics along the way, a lot of logic in particular, and they have read a lot about hell and the philosophical texts on hell and some of the experiences of people who have gone to hell and come back to try to prepare for this trip. So, we start with her going to hell, and kind of she and Peter are working through the levels of hell, and then interspersed with that, we're getting flashbacks of their experiences with their professor, their experiences and her experiences in particular, being a woman going through the academic space and, trying to be respected in her own right for, what she has done and her accomplishments and her magic. And so it's just been super interesting to follow these characters. They're very interesting characters, and follow them not only through hell, but how they got to that point and their experiences in academia thus far, in particular hers, because we're more following what she's gone through with their advisor. And anyway, very interesting. I'm intrigued. Sometimes you really just want to scream at these characters and scream at Alice. But it's just so interesting to follow these characters. And I don't know. It's just very interesting to be in their head. Not always pleasant to be in their head, but just very interesting to be in their head. And how, at least for Alice, just how engrossed she is in academics and kind of being recognized as intelligent and good at what she does, and her seeking the truth, whatever that is. I don't know, maybe some would find this slow, but I have found this one just super interesting, and I really like the dynamic between our two characters here. It's just a really interesting dynamic that has just been pretty interesting to follow. But yeah, I don't know. I'm having a good time. Very excited to listen to the last part of this, and I do think I'll get some good audio time. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw another one just to be safe. I'm kind of hoping for a romance, but I don't know, just kind of, two are stuck together, we'll just go with that one. Yeah, I don't know, kind of in the mood for a romance, but we will see what happens. Ooh, okay. Heart and Mercy number 3. So this is a romance, so that's fun. I'm forgetting what the name of the book is, and it's downstairs, but I'll hold it up later. Is it The Undercutting of Adam and something? Anyway, but the series that starts with The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, the third one in that series, it's just a fun series, and super fun for this time of year. So that was nice. And yeah, so I'll set this aside just so that I don't draw it again. And yeah, I will keep listening to this one and talk more about it once I'm done, and once I've started the third one in the Heart and Mercy series. So we have some progress. So I have 3 shelves in, and I just need to do the next 3. But so far so good. I think it's turning out well. It's coming together pretty easily, so I'm excited. And we are done! So we now have all 6 shelves in, and I think everything is set and where it needs to be. So I think everything turned out exactly how I wanted it to and how I planned for it to. I think it looks great, and now it's time to just play around and put books on the shelves after clearing just some odds and ends out. It's going to be quite a bit to just clean up from this and move furniture that we took out of here and get everything settled again, but I'm so excited to just put some books on, start organizing, figure out how I want the shelves to be organized and how I want them to look. So let's play. Also, we did actually end up having enough room to keep this here. So I think I might just keep that there just for some extra shelf space. So I'll have 3 of these things, 1 there and then 2 in front of me. And then I'll need to figure out where to put this one. So I can either have this one or this one here. So I need to figure out which one I want to keep in here and where I'm gonna put the other one, because I don't know, but we'll figure it out. And here is, and then I reorganize. So I spent basically all day yesterday, well, at least during the day, like during work day hours, finishing up getting those shelves together, putting the books on. I'm obsessed with how it turned out. I know I did just a quick overview in the clip so far, but I'll do a little bit more of a kind of honed in overview of how the books look, and maybe a little book tour. We'll see. Or at least a quick overview of how I've set it up. But I'm obsessed. I love it. They look so good. So I did finish Catabasis while working on putting the books together. Had such a fun time with that one. Again, just super interesting, very intrigued about the relationship between Alice and Peter and her journey of just discovering things about herself and Peter along the way, going through hell, trying to find their professor. That ending. Anyway, I think I liked Babel a bit more, but I did have a ton of fun with Catabasis, so very much enjoyed. And I then did turn to, as I was finishing up putting the books on, I did turn to The Undercutting of Rosie and Adam. That was the title I could not remember. So I'm a good chunk into this one, and I'm having a delightful time with this one as well. So this is by Megan Bannon, and this is the 3rd book in the series, which is why I knew I would probably have a fun time with this one. I've read the other 2, really enjoyed them. I love her writing. It's just funny, and I enjoy her characters, the slow build, the dynamic between them. And in here, we're following, so Rosie is immortal, and there are issues with some of the portals. She dies trying to help fix it. She comes back to life, but and that's the beginning of the story. And to help fix these portal issues, they're bringing in Dr. Adam Lee, and in the midst of trying to fix these portal issues, they need to evacuate the area, but they get stuck in the mist. And so it's these 2 plus a couple of others, her partner as well as someone else, get stuck in the mist. And so they need to find their way back to, are they in Tanria that they're trying to get back to? Anyway, they need to get back, but they're kind of stuck in the Outlands, stuck in the mist. And I'm reading this one for the Battlefield section for Amy and Kim's TBR game. I just feel like the vibes fit that, like the Outlands, the mist, like that kind of vibe just fits with it. And they're rangers. Like a lot of these characters throughout the series are marshals and rangers. Anyway, it just kind of fits. Having a grand time with this one. I do think it would be fun to pick a next book because this one is just flying by. I'm getting through this one really quickly. So I don't know. I enjoy picking from the TBR jar and feel like I should just go ahead and pick before I finish this one. So let's give her and see what comes up. We'll do this one. Ooh, Tusk Love. So another romance, which is fine. As I said, I'm kind of in the mood for romance at the moment, so Tusk Love is a perfect pick. And that one, yeah, another fantasy romance that just kind of screamed fall, at least the cover did to me. Seemed cozy. So this one I wouldn't necessarily classify as cozy. I mean, there are cozy elements, I guess, but anyway. But Tusk Love seems pretty cozy. So we'll do that one next. Very excited. Okay, so I will check in once I have read a bit more of this one and do a more proper tour of the bookshelves, or at least a slightly more proper tour of the bookshelves. I have quite a bit of editing to do today as well, so I need to get that done, as well as apply for some more jobs and get a couple of things done around the house as well. So anyway, check in later. So I have finished the undercutting of Rosie and Adam and have started Tusk Love. But first things first, I'm 100 pages into this, and I would like to know what is next, because I love drawing from this. This has been fun. But I'm probably going to finish this today. This is a very short one. I think I have a few hours left of the audiobook, so I'm going to just give that a bit of a shake and draw this one right here. And this is, okay, The Curse of Saints, number 1 and number 2. So what I need to do is decide whether I'm going to reread the first one or whether I want to try to find a summary of what happened in the first one and jump straight into the second one. I need to decide what to do there, but we at least know what we are reading next, which honestly I feel like fantasy romance is a good vibe for what I have. I hope the next one will be one of the Dark Academias or maybe the Otherwhere posts. I hope to get next, but I'm perfectly fine with The Curse of Saints and The Curse of Sun. So we'll see what I want to do with that one. The Curse of Saints is rather large, so I know it'll take a minute to reread, but we'll see. Anyway, to get back to this, I really enjoyed this one. The characters are so endearing. I really love them. This whole series just is somehow perfect for September, October, but also just a very unique vibe and a little bit cozy, but just heartwarming and fun and adorable creatures in here as well. These are just a great time. Again, love the characters. We're definitely rooting for them. Kind of I say Grumpy Sunshine. Kind of a Grumpy Sunshine dynamic, but I really loved her being a marshal, going through her job. Her relationship with her partner is really funny, and I really like them as kind of marshal partners. Yeah, and it's just them trying to get back to where they were supposed to be. And it was a good time. I really liked it was kind of an isolated since it was the 4 of them together. And so it's just kind of nice to, limit it to a small group and really invest in their dynamic. And I don't know, just a grand time. This whole series is a grand time. Would highly recommend the whole trilogy. And I have picked up Tusk Love. I'm about 100 pages in. This one's following Guinevere and Oscar, and this is exactly what I wanted and expected out of this story, is what it's delivering so far. Guinevere is traveling, this kind of historical fantasy set. Like, you can very much tell, like, the cover really gives the vibes. And she's traveling to get married. She has her dowry with her, and she's traveling to get married. Her group is attacked by bandits. She is rescued by Oscar, and he just kind of gets wrapped up in and charmed by her, even though he's pretty grumpy. This one is definitely a grumpy sunshine dynamic. Like, she is super sweet, and anyway, apologizes a lot, but too much. But she's super sweet, very much a sunshine character. He's pretty grumpy, but is very much charmed by her. He decides to protect her as they are, you know, making their way to where she's supposed to be. And yeah, he's kind of helping her get through. She's a little bit naive, but he's helping her get through. And yeah, again, just charmed by her. This has been so sweet, so cute. I love the world, the vibes. Like, this is, yeah, exactly what I wanted. So very much having a good time with that one. And I will probably finish that one today. There's only a few hours left of the audiobook, and then I will figure out what I want to do with The Curse of Saints and The Curse of Sons, and whether I just want to dive straight into the second one, or if I want to suck it up and take the time to do a reread of the first one. We'll see. Because the first one really has kind of escaped my mind since I read it a while ago. And maybe a summary will be good enough. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. We'll see what I want to do. So here to check in. It is Sunday and it is halftime of the game. So decided it would be a good chance to check in. I have finished Tusk Love. So we'll talk about that in just a sec. I did decide to reread The Curse of Saints. I was reading through the read-along that Fairy Loot does on their website, and it wasn't jogging my memory enough. Usually when that happens, I feel like I'm back in it. I'm like, oh, right, okay, I remember this. I remember the vibe, I remember the feeling, I remember these plot beats. But I just felt it would be best to actually fully reread this before going into The Curse of Sons. And I'm almost done with The Curse of Saints. I'll definitely finish that today and start The Curse of Sons. So again, we'll get to that in just a minute. I want to draw one more book for this vlog. So I will continue drawing from here in the next vlog, but I just feel like this will be enough books to talk about to finish this one up, finish The Curse of Saints and The Curse of Sons. I'll only briefly talk about The Curse of Sons since it's the second book in a series. But I do want to go ahead and just draw one more book for this vlog, and then we'll continue drawing for another vlog. I think I might want Immortal Consequences or the Otherwhere posts. I feel like are kind of the ones that I'm drawn to the most. Like, Dark Academia is kind of back where I am in terms of my mood and my vibe right now. So, but we'll see what happens. Just give that a good shake. And, oh, I accidentally grabbed two, so we'll just grab this one. And, oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so the jar listened to me, so that's nice. So the Otherwhere post is going to be the final book for this vlog, and then we'll wrap it up and continue on with another vlog. But Tusk Love, we'll go down the line here and actually update. So Tusk Love, I did really enjoy this. I don't think I actually fully wrapped up my thoughts. I think I gave an initial clip. Definitely loved the vibes here. I think my only complaint is that it's a little too short. So I do kind of love a slow burn. This definitely was not a slow burn. It was very cozy though, so the cozy vibes were there, but they do kind of very quickly fall for each other as they're traveling to get to where Guinevere needs to go. But still really cute. I love their dynamic. I think the only other thing is that the dialogue sometimes was modern enough, so it was definitely felt kind of historically sad. Sometimes the dialogue, especially his, and particularly during the intimate scenes, the spicy scenes, for some reason his dialogue in particular was sometimes just modern enough to kind of take me out of it a little bit. But I still did like their dynamic. Very cute, very cozy. If you're looking for just a quick, fun, cozy time, would recommend. And yeah, so again, it's just them traveling to this place and Guinevere making some realizations about what she wants and what she's willing to do to make that happen. I had a lot of fun with this one. So, as I mentioned, I did decide to reread The Curse of Saints. So in this one, we're following Aya. And Aya is the spy master for the queen. And most of her interactions in this book are with a few other characters. So we're following Will, who is kind of the queen's enforcer, right-hand person, number 2, however you want to put that. So she interacts a lot with Will, and then there's also Tova, who is the general. So she's part of the queen's inner circle of very trusted advisors. And there are a couple of things going on politically. So one of the things that I is figuring out towards the beginning of the story is that there's another kingdom who might be trying to get weapons outside of the way that they're supposed to, according to various agreements that these kingdoms have. They're trying to get weapons not according to how that should be going on, according to these treaties. And so they're trying to figure out, why are they purchasing these weapons? Who's selling them these weapons? And what is their purpose? They might be trying to get them on behalf of another kingdom, so they need to keep track of that and see what's going on there. They can't really find the sellers is what they're having trouble with, so they don't know who's selling these weapons. So that's part of what's going on politically. There's also a resurgence or a potential resurgence in some dark magic, and one of the saints that they're having a festival for towards the beginning is a saint who kind of helped put a stop to some of this dark magic and practitioners of this dark magic. And so there's a very complicated relationship between magic and the gods and worshiping the gods and political power and the way these kingdoms interact. So very interesting politics and world building here. I'm definitely enjoying that. I also really enjoy Aya and Will's dynamic. So their families have a lot of history that really makes it so that they not really hate each other, but kind of have a thing. And despite that history, there's still kind of this tension and this chemistry between them. And I really enjoy that tension and that chemistry, and I'm really feeling it. So I'm really enjoying that element. And so a lot of this is them. They actually go to this other kingdom that's potentially purchasing weapons. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Aya is also trying to speak to someone who might know more, because some things are going on with her magic as well that are concerning. And so she's trying to figure out, and other people are leading her to believe that there is a possibility she could be, there's a prophecy about the coming of the second saint. And so she's trying to figure out, what's going on with my magic? Could that possibly be me? What's going on here? And I love that. They have these wolf companions too that are super fun. I think is it one of the images? No, I don't think there's an image of the wolf, unfortunately. But they have these kind of wolf companions that they're bonded to, which is really fun. Anyway, I'm having a really good time with this one. So I'm almost done. I just have this bit to go, and then I will continue on with The Curse of Sins. I also realized, looking this up, that the third, and I think this is a trilogy, so I think final book in this series actually just came out in August. I'm not going to read the third one now. I'm just not going to do it. But maybe by the end of the year or something, maybe I could be in a position to read the last one and wrap up this series. I haven't seen Fairy Loot mention anything about an edition of the third book in this series. They usually have some sort of mention of it before the book gets published, but I don't think I've seen anything about it. But maybe they'll do a book or an edition of the third book. and we'll just have to see what happens there. But maybe I'll finish it by the end of the year and wrap up another series. But anyway, that is it for now. I'm gonna continue watching this game that actually halftime just ended, so perfect timing. So I'm gonna continue watching this game, and I will check in as I'm reading The Curse of Sins. As I said, it might be some quick check-ins because I don't know how much I'll be able to say about this one, at least in terms of in-depth plot stuff. But anyway, check in soon. So I have finished The Curse of Sins, and I meant to check in while reading this, but did not. But I have finished The Curse of Sins. I finished it yesterday afternoon. It's now Wednesday, but yeah, I finished it Tuesday afternoon and had a really good time with this one. I will say it is chunky, and there were some parts that dragged a little bit for me. There were some parts that I feel like could have been edited down a bit. But I will say the last, between quarter and third, really picked up. A lot is happening. We're figuring out a lot of things, a lot of revelations. Super interesting. And I'm definitely wanting to pick up the third one to see what happens, which again, hopefully will happen by the end of the year. But we pick up right where we leave off from the first one. People are reeling from what happened. More things need to be found out, and so they're trying to gather more information. More things are happening politically, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, who they can trust, what's really happening, and are the people that they think they can trust behind it. How do they navigate that situation, and try to find a way to work together to navigate that. But who can they really trust? And people are feeling like they're betrayed by different things. And again, I was having a really good time with this one. Again, a few things could have been cut down, but overall, had a fun time, and I'm looking forward to picking up the third one. I then did pick up The Otherwhere Post by Emily J. Taylor. So let's chat about this one. I'm about 100 pages in and having a fun time with this one as well. We're following Maeve, and 7 years ago, there are a few places in this world that you can travel between, and 7 years ago something happened, and access to one place was destroyed, and access between them was cut off. And her father supposedly is responsible for this situation, and so it's not good to be his daughter. She doesn't want to be remembered as his daughter. She's going by another name to remove herself from the stain of being his daughter, and is just trying to live her life. She gets a letter on the way home from work one day that says, your father was innocent, meet me here at this time, blah, blah, blah. But she's getting the letter essentially 7 years late. So they had been trying to figure out a way to properly get the letters that were sent in the initial aftermath of that situation. The Otherwhere Post had been trying to get those letters to the right people, but the magic had kind of been messed up around that situation. And so the letter is being delivered. They're finally delivering some of these letters, and it's being delivered to her 7 years too late. And so, she obviously didn't make that meeting or know to make that meeting. And she's desperately trying to figure out who sent that letter. It's not signed by anyone. There's no name attached to it. She's trying to figure out who sent it. And the best way that she can think of to get information is by basically trying to be an apprentice for the Otherwhere Post, learn the art of scriptomancy. And scriptomancy is a kind of magic or something to imbue letters with magic and be able to do certain things. So letters can give you a certain feeling. Letters can evoke certain memories where you literally are in the midst or feel like you're in the midst of that memory and can visually see it. Letters can be enchanted to do certain things, and that's the art of scriptomancy. And so she is wanting to be an apprentice and learn scriptomancy in an effort to be able to try to figure out, the best resources she's going to have to be able to figure out who sent that letter is through the otherware post. And so she's trying to figure things out from the inside and figure out who sent this letter and figure out what happened 7 years ago, figure out if her father is responsible, and if not, who is. And I'm intrigued by the mystery. I'm intrigued by what's going on. I'm intrigued by this magic of scriptomancy. So having a good time so far. I'm hoping that this gets a little dark. Her debut, Hotel Magnifique, definitely got pretty dark for a YA, and so I'm intrigued to see if she'll kind of go to that dark place with this one as well. Again, we're just 100 pages in, so we're just introducing the mystery and her starting to try to figure things out, but I'm hoping it gets a little dark. So having a fun time with that one. So I will continue reading this one, and then we'll wrap up this vlog with the otherware post, and then start the next vlog. Another thing I forgot to mention, also, I had mentioned the wolves in this one, and we do actually have a picture of them, or an image of them in the second book, so I thought that was fun. But the more important thing, I mentioned the National Book Festival. I didn't actually end up getting any clips, but I did want to just chat about it just a little bit. So we were able to go to the National Book Festival, and I did get some pictures. So I will sprinkle some images here of some of the talks that we went to. And by the way, all of these talks will eventually be on YouTube. Every one of them was recorded. So if you are interested in any of the ones that we went to, or you can always look at the schedule of talks, and if there are talks that you're interested in, they will at some point be on the Library of Congress's YouTube channel. I'll put the URL below in the description. So keep an eye out. They have put up a couple of them so far, so they'll continue to put them up. It might just take some time to work through getting those edited and, make sure that they're on the page, but they're all recorded and should be up for anyone to watch. So if you're interested, just know that. We did try to go to Nadia Corfor and V.E. Schwab's talk. We did get there in time, but the line was too long and we ultimately weren't able to get in. So I myself am also very anxiously awaiting the recording of that one to be able to watch that. And so we weren't able to do that, but we went to a writing workshop, which was really cool. And then we also saw a few different talks that were all really interesting. We saw Tahara Mafi and Susan Dennard in one talk, so that was really fun. We also saw Fiona Davis. That one was a really interesting conversation. We saw, I think one of the highlights was seeing S.A. Chakraborty and Joe Abercrombie have a conversation with someone, so that was really cool. And then we also saw John Green talk about his new book, Everything is Tuberculosis. And then we also saw Kennedy Ryan and Alexis Daria do a talk as well, or have a conversation with a moderator as well. So it was super fun and just really interesting conversations. I didn't get any books signed, but I did get a copy of The Devils by Joe Abercrombie and then John Green's new book as well. So those were the two books I got. And then, yeah, just had a fun time listening to authors talk about their writing process and their latest works, and always a good time. So, yeah, as I said, I will pop images of the ones that we went to, and hopefully we can go next year. I think this will be a fun yearly tradition, so I'm excited. Anyway, just wanted to follow up on that because I realized that I mentioned it and then never actually talked about it again. Okay, I promised a super quick tour, so I'm just gonna kind of orient you a little bit to what's going on here. So on the top shelf, we have a Robin Hobb corner. The rest of these are mostly just adult titles. We've got A Drop of Corruption, some V.E. Schwab, this is my Patrick Rothfuss books, T.J. Klune books, some other adult titles. This is some more romantasy-oriented stuff over here. I realize I have everything turned to have the sprayed edges out, but these are some romantasies. This is kind of a spooky season fall section over here. These are some of my vampire books here. We've got some of my fae-centered books in this area. And then over here we've got my Brandon Sanderson corner. This will definitely grow. This whole shelf is a lot of YA books that I really like. So we've got Laini Taylor, Witchland series, Red Queen, Six of Crows Kingdom, Lightlark series. We've got the Hunger Games series. Anyway, all my Graceland Realm series. So just kind of some YA series along here. I have a couple facing out because I really like those covers. Here we also have some more stuff that's good for spooky season, including we've got the Diviners series, Margaret Rogerson's books, some others here. These are all my pirate sea summery fantasies right here. We, of course, need to have a dragon section, so this is going to be my dragon section, including my two little adorable little dragon guys right here. I absolutely love them. The next shelf here, we got a lot of Asian-inspired fantasies, or Asian mythology-based fantasies. We've got, and then some cozy books here is mostly what I was going for in this section. We've got some dark academia down here. We've got some Latin American inspired mythology stories here, African inspired stories. The section's going to grow too because I need to continue all of these series, so I definitely will be growing this section a lot, and adding some more to these that I have planned to read. And then we also have some Middle Eastern mythology or Middle Eastern inspired fantasies here. So I guess just a quick orientation. I don't divide it by author or anything. I kind of by either vibe or mythology or anyway, so those are the main shelves. I also have sci-fi over here, my romance shelves over here, got some historical down there, some general romance, got my fall romances here, winter holiday romances here, some summer romances here, and then just some other general romances. Got some graphic novels, manga, etc. here, and then these really start the thriller mystery area, and then some historicals are kind of down in this corner as well. So those are the shelves. I also have some downstairs. I moved some of the paperbacks from these shelves to have a little bit more space to grow because I feel like I need it. But anyway, that is an overview of the shelves. So here to wrap up this vlog, I did finish the Otherwhere Post this morning. I read it super quickly and really enjoyed this one. This one was definitely a lot less dark than Hotel Magnifique, but I still enjoyed it. I was in the mood for something a little dark, but it's okay. I still had a good time with this one. I enjoy her writing. She still just has something very just atmospheric about her writing. I was definitely very in the setting at this place where she's learning about scriptomancy and getting caught up in a bunch of stuff, and it's clear that someone knows she's investigating what happened to her dad, and she's getting threatening notes and trying to figure out what's going on, and she is working with the son of the person who runs this school to try and figure things out. Their dynamic was cute. The romance wasn't the point. I mean, I guess our dynamic was cute. It was fine. Again, not the point. The mystery was the point, and I had a lot of fun with the mystery. So I don't know. I've enjoyed both of Emily J. Taylor's books. Definitely an author to keep an eye on for me for anything else that she publishes. So thank you so much for watching. I'm really enjoying getting into the fall reads, and this one still felt fall to me, maybe a little bit less than Hotel Magnifique, but still felt fall and kind of vibey for this time of year, which I absolutely love. I don't know. Again, this is the best time to read. I love fall and fall reading, so having a good time. Again, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more bookish content and to see the next vlog where I will continue going with my September TBR and picking out of the TBR jar to figure out what I will be reading next. I kind of like doing this. This is a fun way to add a little bit of chance into the mix. So let me know if you're enjoying that. Maybe I'll do that in some future months as well, or find other ways to kind of spice it up. So yeah, I'll leave my Instagram down below, as well as more information about how you can support the Black Lives Matter movement, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.